Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is slightly different. I want to talk to you about my top 5 reasons to be grateful. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about the year that's gone and the top 5 things that I have gratitude for, because I think it's really important to reflect on the past year, especially this year, and it really helps to set goals for 2021 as well. So stay tuned. Top 5 things that I am grateful for. I think a lot of you guys are gonna find something in here that you are also grateful for, but like I said, I highly recommend that element of reflection to help you on your way. So let's get into it. My top 5 things that I am grateful for. We're going to kick off with my number 1, and my number 1 is a really obvious one, and it is the health of myself and my family. So this isn't for everybody. This hasn't happened to everybody, but for those of us that are extremely lucky to say that we have not been adversely affected by COVID-19, and our family haven't, and our friends are extremely lucky, and I don't take that for granted at all. For those that are affected, obviously it is a completely different kettle of fish. If you are seriously sick from coronavirus, or a family member was extremely sick or worse, passed away, then it is obviously not going to be the type of thing that you're grateful for. But in my personal circumstances, and in a lot of people's circumstances, a top gratitude for the year, and a thing that I feel very grateful to say, is that my friends and family and myself were not adversely affected. So number 1 is health. It's our wealth, isn't it? So my number 2 is I am grateful for my family, and I think that a lot of people can resonate with this. Coronavirus took up the majority of the year, so I am going to touch on it quite a lot, but I have a big family. I definitely am guilty of taking my family for granted, thinking that they'll always be there, thinking that they'll always be okay, and that they're strong, independent women, most of them. Some independent men as well, but that just isn't the case, is it? They became quite vulnerable. We had to really make huge decisions on behalf of our elderly members of our family and things like that, and it just made me feel appreciative, and it made me feel grateful, and it made me feel like I'd been missing so much, because by checking in with them a lot more and making sure that they're okay, I got closer to them, and we bonded more, and I thought that we were close anyway, but we really weren't in reflection. So I have family that live the majority of them live in England, and I have a couple of people that live in Canada and New Zealand as well. So I thought we were close, but I think that real connection and closeness comes from really minding people and making sure and checking in on a regular basis, not just on those kind of special events like birthdays and Christmases and anniversaries and all those things, but checking in to check that they're okay, and that they're mentally okay as well as physically okay. So that's my number 2, guys. It's my family. I feel I have a renewed love for them, and I just appreciate them a lot more than I did before. My number 3 is going to be another really obvious one, but one that I do not take for granted. It is the healthcare system. Now, I have 2 differing opinions on this with regards to the healthcare that I have in the country that I live in, which is Ireland, and the healthcare that I am accustomed to, which is the NHS. So the NHS is obviously the health service in the UK, the United Kingdom, and it is completely free. I can't believe the rally around and the work and the resilience of the nurses and doctors and the surgeons and everyone in between. I don't mean to miss everyone out, but everybody in between, you know, the cleaners, the radiographers, the anesthesists, I can never say that word. I don't take any of it for granted. I like workhorses, to be quite frank. 60, 70, 80 hours a week, constantly on call, constantly putting their life on the line, and looking after patients with coronavirus and everyone in between. You know, people's medical conditions don't just stop. People don't just stop getting sick for all of the other sicknesses and illnesses and chronic conditions and things like that. So all of those people in between that were on all of the other wards that were, you know, severely understaffed because every single resource was taken to the COVID wards and things like that. So I think that for the most part, they are treated quite well in the NHS, but you know, I still believe that their wages are a joke in comparison to the likes of football players, CEOs, things like that. There is a complete imbalance between a football match and entertainment and saving people's lives. So there is definitely that imbalance, which I think will just be something that we can't control. But huge admiration for healthcare workers. In Ireland, we have the HSE, which is a semi-private. So it is, there are a lot of services that are free of charge, but a lot of them aren't free of charge. So for example, if you go into A&E, you'll be charged, and you're also charged per night if you get admitted to hospital. There are mechanisms in place. For example, if you're pregnant, all of your pregnancy care is free of charge. So like I said, it's semi-private. Portions of it are and portions of it aren't. So that was definitely a shock to the system when I came to Ireland. Not something that I'm used to, and I think at that point it renewed my gratitude for the NHS, because when you have to pay for everything and pay for your doctor's appointments and pay for x-rays and things like that, blood tests, and it's quite a shock because I was, you know, for the last however many years, 26 years that I lived in England, you didn't have to pay for that, and you just didn't think about it, which is obviously the most important part. You just didn't think about it. The NHS has been there for an incredibly long period of time, and you took it for granted, I suppose. And then when you move country, you're like, wow. But the healthcare workers, much like in England, all over the world, have worked tirelessly. The student nurses, it's a huge thing at the moment. They're not being paid in Ireland for the work that they have done, and they have done a huge amount of work across the coronavirus pandemic. So it is quite sad to see, quite shocking to see. There are a lot of petitions that are going around at the moment, and there are a lot of people that are pro paying them within the government. So we're just hoping really that something can be done, because they gave up a lot of time. You know, this is first year, second year and third year nurses that are all volunteering their time, not doing their part-time jobs because they want to volunteer and they want to help and they want to do the right thing, and they're not even being paid for it or any kind of expenses. So pretty shocking, but for me, really, my gratitude will go as far as I can see, because I just couldn't imagine them. I had a very close relative of mine that was sick across the pandemic. It wasn't coronavirus, but they got sick and they were left with a chronic condition that they will live with for the rest of their life. So I experienced the healthcare system, I suppose, across the pandemic. It wasn't an enjoyable experience because it's quite isolating, but I just think that the work that they did throughout the time was just absolutely incredible. So yeah, my number 3 is the healthcare system. My number 4, guys, is booze and Zoom. Booze and Zoom. If I didn't have alcoholic beverages, Aperol Spritz, white wine, Prosecco, gin and tonics, whatever floats your boat, I would have gone mad. Partly because I would have had to do Zoom calls with my family and quizzes without booze. But yeah, I needed the to be able to differentiate between the week and the weekends. I was fortunate enough to be able to work fully from home, but the isolation meant that, you know, it was just very uncomfortable and just isolating, really, to be honest, to spend day in, day out, Monday to Sunday in the house. So me and my partner Paul, we like to have a nice beverage, you know, on the Friday, and that would just set off the weekend for us. Definitely had a couple of times where we got too drunk and you're just basically sitting indoors with a 2-day hangover, because I'm old and they last 2 days. But yeah, booze and Zoom quizzes for the first lockdown were amazing, and a lot of people said lots of funny things about them, how they were annoying and how they had to talk to their family and they didn't really want to, and they ran out of quiz ideas and things like that. But I have quite a large family and we all took it in turns to do themes and things like that, and all the older nieces and nephews would get involved as well. So I actually found it a really good bonding experience, because we were all quite separated anyway, because we live in different countries. So I thought it was a great opportunity to come together every week. And sure, look, we weren't doing anything else, let's be frank. So yeah, my number 4 is booze and Zoom, guys. I pretty grateful for the liquor stores right now. They definitely stayed afloat because of me and Paul. And finally, guys, my number 4 is quite an important one. I think something that a lot of us, if they weren't going through a trauma of some kind, could really relate to, and that is personal and professional growth. So for me personally, at the beginning of lockdown, probably didn't do a lot. I definitely, I probably did actually, no, that's a lie. Probably at the beginning of lockdown, I focused on my working career quite a lot, and I really progressed more on a social level. Like I have been in the same office for over a year now, or 2 years, sorry. And I would probably confidently say that I wouldn't have spoken to half of the office. I wouldn't have the confidence to go and talk to someone, or have the confidence to ask them a question. And then when we all had to work virtually, we all kind of just had to come together to help one another, to make sure that we, cemented down our working from home situations, supported each other with our IT equipment and things like that. And just really thrived, really, because we had that extra layer of communication where, in my particular instance, we all came onto a daily group call. And it was just a way of actually getting to know one another and being able to share any questions or queries or problems that we were having, and really just have an open forum. And I work in quite a formal super professional office, so their boundaries are quite slim. You really have to get to know people, and I think that being at home and having to do everything virtually, it gave people made people a little bit more comfortable in order to talk about their questions and queries and kind of open up those channels. And I found that to be a fantastic professional piece of growth for me. And obviously, in turn, that helped my career massively, because I kind of was doing things better, quicker, more effectively, and I was reaching out to people quicker and not being worried about it. So all those things just made it more effective, and I just could do my job better. And I just think that it made me happier, and my work was obviously significantly improved. On the second half of lockdown, I decided to push a lot of my passion projects, one of them being this YouTube channel. So yeah, I just really wanted to do it for such a long time, and the coronavirus and the lockdown gave me the opportunity to kind of push those outlets and see if I could do it, and give me the confidence to do it, and give me the time to do it, because obviously the time element is obviously the big thing that people hold on to, and I'm certainly a victim of that as well. But yeah, it was great to be able to put my passions to the forefront with all of the free time that I had, and do something that I love, and talk to people and try and create a community. So yeah, personal and professional growth has definitely been the most surprising and nicest part of what I'm grateful for from lockdown. Lockdown 1, lockdown 2.0. So yeah, it's a short and a sweet one this week, guys. I had all of last week off, so I did miss 2 uploads because I had teeth problems. If anyone's had teeth problems, you can all relate. It was horrific and sent me completely offline, but I am back with a vengeance. My video was supposed to be a top 5 Christmas Day outfits, but I'm missing one thing. So when I get that one thing, I have the hiccups. When I get that one thing, I will post that video. So it's going to be my top 5 Christmas Day outfits, and probably will be coming this Sunday. But that is all from me. Short and sweet, 5 things that I am grateful for this year, mostly made up of coronavirus related gratitude. Guys, I really highly recommend you have a little moment before the new year to reflect on the year and to see exactly what you achieved, and it could be absolutely anything. Reflection is the key to everything. If you can reflect on what you've done, good, bad and the ugly, see what you loved, see what you're grateful for, and see what your goals are going to be for next year, you're going to have a great year, guys. You're going to set yourself up to win. Thank you so much for watching, and guys, if you have anything that you're grateful for, please pop it in the comments below, and I would really love it if you could give this a cheeky little like and add a comment for me. And if you like what you see, there are loads of videos coming. I upload twice a week, Wednesday and Sunday, and yeah, it'd be lovely for you to join me. Until the next one, guys, stay grateful. Bye.